So of late, around the virtual office, I've earned the nickname Minivan Queen. And, well, what the hell? When the name, if the shoe fits. Look, it's no small wonder why I'm all excited about minivans nowadays. A few reasons. All of them in 2021 calendar year are new or heavily updated. And well, I have a small family, and I love going out, and doing things with the family, taking the wife and the kids, and loading up the vehicle. And look, let's just stop kidding ourselves. No SUV, mid-size 3-row SUV, is as versatile and able to handle family duties as a minivan. Period. Unless you go into a full-size Expedition, Tahoe, or something like that. It's the perfect family vehicle. Period. And this is the new 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. And not just any Pacifica, my friends. No, this is the Pinnacle. And it's all-wheel drive. So essentially, the minivan I have right here before you is the absolute summation of what? We're all closing in on 40 years of Chrysler minivans in one package. And look, I'm excited. I won't lie. There's a smile on my face, and I truly mean it. However, after now about 5 days and change with my Pacifica, I'm somewhere in between very happy with it and somewhat disappointed. So what that means is that we're gonna have to go for a little tour on the outside and the inside, then for a drive, and I promise you, I will try and summarize my thoughts on the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. Okay, so for this hopefully brief video, I will not talk about the Voyager Grand Caravan naming scheme from Chrysler, FCA, Stellantis. I'm just going to focus entirely on this, the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. In the US, pricing starts at $35,045. In Canada, it's $45,170. The top line Pinnacle, the model that this is, starts at $53,390 in the US. $62,670 in Canada. In Canada, all-wheel drive is an option on every trim and is an extra $3,500. So what do you get for the base price in the Touring? Well, you get stow and go seats, which is lovely. Uconnect 5, which is lovely. 10.1-inch touchscreen, which is nice. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, LED lights, and all of that. When you skip up to Pinnacle, well, then you get the fam cam, which is kind of cool. Caramel quilted Napa leather everywhere. Second row captain seats, 20-inch wheels, and a bunch of other stuff. As it sits right here with the optional trailer tow package, $67,000. Obviously, you won't pay that because FCA Stellantis has a bunch of incentives and rebates ongoing right now. Now, I want to say before I speak about styling, the Touring L, in my opinion, is the best bargain. It's the first one that you get the power doors, all three of them, with the heated steering wheel and all that stuff, and it's about $52,000 with all-wheel drive. Well worth it. Now look, styling-wise, it's no secret. Chrysler, FCA, Stellantis is working to convince people to possibly consider a minivan over an SUV, which explains why it's so much square. It's beefed up, it's flatter in almost every angle, and look, it actually kind of works. And the funny thing is that it's bigger than it looks, or does it look bigger than it actually is? I can't tell. I know it's kind of windy. I do apologize for that. Let's just do the usual tour, and that's it. It's nothing anything novel, but nice and quick to hatch, by the way. Look, with the third row in the floor, you're looking at about 2,500 liters of space. By the way, those pillows are included with the Pinnacle. They are stowed there so the kids don't, take them, play with them, or lose them, which would be worse. With the third row in place, you're looking at about 925 liters of trunk space, because this is actually really deep. Power operated third row is a nice touch. The shades, plugs in the back, all kinds of good stuff. It is $67,000 after all. Okay, so definitely look, Touring L for the power doors. I can't live without these doors anymore. There you go. You kind of get an idea of that caramel Napa leather stuff. I mentioned stow and go. Now, would you believe that some preparation goes into these crazy little videos? There's a backpack back there. That's kind of a medium-sized backpack. It's not that big, so it gives you an idea, maybe, hopefully, of the depth and size of the bins. But funny thing, or thing to know, is that with the captain's seats, they do not stow the seats. But they are very comfortable, and because they recline, the kids are absolutely comfortable. There's plenty of room. I love the openness between the two captain seats. Sunshades are a wonderful touch. I must say, however, and despite the seats being slid all the way back, the other minivans have a little bit more room for the feet, and there's a little bit of proof. Unfortunately, that will be removed, I promise. That's a nice touch, rear entertainment system, and it's got a few built-in apps, but my kids are too young to play with them, but they're fun to have. Now here you get a better shot of the quilted Napa leather stuff. It looks really good. It's almost unexpected in a minivan, but then this is a nearly $70,000 minivan. Harman Kardon's also included with the Pinnacle. A lot of familiar buttons down here, especially these, but they work. This is the only unfortunate part of the fit and finish. Well, not the fit, but the materials. It's a little too glossy and fake, in my opinion. Let's start it up because it is kind of cold. All right, so that reveals your 7-inch display, which has all kinds of menus. I love FCA's gauges. They're kind of concave and they look really sporty. There's the 10.1-inch touchscreen with Uconnect 5. Now, right now, I bet you it's going to work really well. Yeah, okay, well, look, it's been working quite well, or has it? Uconnect 5, right? This is the first vehicle that it is available in. What is going on? Is it my glove? My glove is broken? Well, this is fun. Anyhow, the problem hasn't been the responsiveness of this far more powerful system over the Uconnect 4. Actually, it's been CarPlay. My phone and CarPlay on this van have been disagreeing and actually made the screen freeze on a couple of occasions. And they won't speak to each other for a little while, and then everything works fine. Anyhow, I figure if that's some kind of bug, it can easily be updated via software updates. Very typical right here. Hvac controls while I'm up here, I guess. Great visibility, as you would expect in a minivan. You do sit up high, and I do love the opening here, although this is useless. It gives you a sense, an airiness sense, much like the cabin. Speaking of airiness, let's talk storage. As your wireless charger. Nice bin here and a little bit of trash, apparently. This is huge, great place for DVDs, that's right. And there's even a storage bin down here which can come in very handy. Driving position is actually not that bad. In fact, it's pretty good if I have to be honest. And driving it is a mixed bag of ups and downs. I'm not going to go back out because it's way too windy. We're just going to go for a drive right now. In a minivan, I guess I can deal with the wheel. Just thought you needed to know that. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed when I picked up the Pacifica is how nice a naturally aspirated V6 engine can be. How refined, docile even. I kind of forgot about that. That might give you a hint about what other minivan I might be talking about. Oh, look, in the Pacifica, it's the good old 3.6 liter V6, which puts out 287 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. Look, tried, tested, and true, we'll call it that. The old Pentastar. It does a fine job of getting things going. Its biggest weakness, if memory serves, is that all that torque, or its 262 pound-feet of torque, come in at about 4,000 RPM. Not so unusual for a naturally aspirated engine, but this is a heavy minivan. Now, the last Pacifica I drove was a little while back. In fact, it was a hybrid, but before that was a front-wheel drive version of this, the old body style, right? And it was agreeable to drive, if you will. This Pacifica with the all-wheel drive, it's about 360 pounds heavier than the front-wheel drive version. Now, it's not just to do with the power takeoff unit, the rear differential. It also has to do with the fact that this has larger brakes than the front-wheel drive version. It's actually 20 millimeters taller, or a little bit more ground clearance, or mechanical ground clearance, I don't know, call it what you will, than the front-wheel drive version. Now, 360 pounds isn't that much, but I've been on a few, well, at least one good road trip, and the wife, the kids, and a considerable amount of gear for this one. We were meeting up with people, staying outside, keeping our distance, and wearing masks, delivering stuff, if you will, to friends we haven't seen in a long, long time, and family. Besides the point, on the highway, when you gotta move and get out of your way, well, you gotta wait for the engine speeds to climb before this thing actually moves. And a few things I did discover on the highway especially is one really weird one. Now, merging onto the highway, let's just say you're doing 70, and there's that semi coming in your blind spot, and there's a few pickups, another semi right there, and you want to move over from the merging lane into the middle because you can see that it's open, and you put your hammer down, or almost all the way down. Now, this has happened at least 3 or 4 times since I've picked up the van. It has to do with the all-wheel drive. At least that's what I think. The ESP kicks in and cuts the power at the most inopportune time. The only thing I can come up with as an explanation, I'm not an engineer, but when the PTU and the brain actually decide to engage the wet clutch to send power to the back, because extra load is one of the requirements to engage the rear wheels, as are, outside weather conditions, running wipers. This is not so unusual, but as the clutch engages, the wheels now are being compared to each other, wheel speed, and there's a differentiation or a difference in wheel turning speed between the front and the rear, which causes the brain of the van to think that something's off, so it actually cuts power as I'm merging on the highway, accelerating. Really not cool. Really, really not cool. And the first time it happened, very scary, because I thought something had gone horribly wrong. Another thing about the weight, the V6 and all of that, is fuel economy. Now, I won't lie to you and tell you that I've been setting the cruise at 101 kilometers per hour. The cruise was set a little bit higher than that, but on the highway, okay? I'd say in excess of 90% of the 500-ish kilometers I've put on the minivan have been done on the highway. And my average, okay, we're just gonna use the van's numbers right here. We're almost there. Here we go, trip info, 13.6 liters per 100 kilometers. Which is not good, because as that average changes, meaning that I get closer to, say, 60 highway, 40% driving in the city, that's only going to go up. And yes, it's cold. Yes, there has been some snow on the ground, but not insane winter weather conditions. That's pretty dismal. I don't recall the exact numbers for the last Durango with the V6 that I test drove. Its fuel economy numbers, but they were not worse than this. That I promise you. Thankfully, the V6 is smooth. It's nice. The 9-speed automatic transmission has been a great partner on the road so far. And the ride quality is really, really good. I have to admit, the chassis, the fully independent suspension, everything about the way it soaks up bumps despite the 20-inch wheels and the low-profile tires, ride quality has been really, really good. And it's decently quiet in here despite a few windy days. And the V6 that can get somewhat vocal at times. Now, I've not driven the other two revised minivans in this segment. I've driven this one and the Toyota Sienna. On the surface, from memory, there are a few things that I prefer of the Pacificas. One being that I do know for a fact that the all-wheel drive system will be far more, well, efficient is the wrong word, but capable should I ever go, semi-quasi-real off-roading. In the snow, on slippery, icy surfaces, there won't be any real tangible difference. But definitely the efficiency overall of the Sienna's powertrain is far greater. I'm not saying it's a toss-up. What I am saying is that I do hope that in the not too distant future, I will at least pit those two against each other in a comparison test, a real comparison test, and possibly, hopefully, include another member, the Odyssey specifically, and have a nice, real comparison review for you, because a lot of you guys seem to be interested in minivans and are big fans of the Sienna, as I am. To be continued.